It's a big ask from Ben Wallace. I mean, is he whistling in the wind for this one?
Well, it is. I think he is partially whistling in the wind because the MOD is not known for looking after the pennies it's been given very well. It wastes more money than it spends successfully. And I think there has to be a balance. There's no doubt that defence needs more money, 100%. But I think defence needs to also reform itself and prove that it can look after and spend the money it's been given wisely, instead of panicking at the last minute and realising that the cupboards are bare.
Yeah, the cupboards are bare. So what sort of threat do you think these spy balloons are? Why are we suddenly just spotting them all over Canada and America and maybe the UK as well?
Well, only one of them has been confirmed as a spy balloon, and the Americans are still pulling the pieces of it out of the Atlantic. The others have all been described as objects with various descriptions of them, including the US Department of Defense not ruling out that they could be from the aliens. However, the White House has ruled that out. The reason why we're suddenly spotting them is they move in a different way to aircraft. They move in a different way to things that are put into the threat databases because they're very slow. They rely on the currents that are there. They're not seen as a threat, certainly where the spy balloon was because the height it was flying at. And therefore, the ground surveillance radars that are monitoring for different threats out there don't pick them up. And once it was identified, they looked at the parameters of what was happening, and they retuned their radars and suddenly went, "Oh, crikey, we can see lots of these sorts of things." And therefore, there's been a bit of an epiphany moment, a retuning of things, and it's amazing what you can see when you do that.
Philip, can I just say, look, I get my kids ready to school, they go off, you know, I'm worried about the bills, I'm worried about food, energy, everything. Now I've got to be worried about Chinese balloons invading our airspace. I mean, should I be worried? I'm watching telly, I turn the news on, and apparently our RAF are there, ready to strike down. I mean, what is this? For me, as an ordinary person, how concerned should I be?
Not in the slightest.
Thank you.
The RAF are in standby for any threat on a daily basis. They've got a quick reaction force that, you know, the pilots are not quite sitting in the cockpit of their aircraft, but they're not far off it. And therefore, if there's any threat that comes into UK airspace, whether it be balloon, and the weather patterns that go across the UK don't make it easy for balloons to come and provide a threat, or whether it be aircraft coming, hostile aircraft coming and probing, and the Russians come and probe UK areas of responsibility fairly frequently. We've got Typhoon fighters ready to be launched, and they are launched on a regular basis to go and intercept these. It is routine, it is something that defence does, and we should not be concerned in the slightest. In fact, we should be grateful that they are managing to keep us safe.
What on earth would the Chinese be looking for? I mean, if you scratch your head and you think, well, why are they so interested?
Well, yeah, intelligence is an interesting game. What you want to do is use as many different collection mechanisms to look at, if necessary, the same target in as many different ways as possible. So the Chinese have got their space-based satellites that are looking at things from an imagery perspective and through other elements of the electromagnetic spectrum. It seems as if this balloon has been carrying some form of sensors as well that would work at a different level. So possibly if there was cloud cover, the balloon would be flying in an area where it could be tuned in an area where the cloud cover wasn't there. They're difficult to steer. They're difficult to get into a place accurately. And it's just another layer of intelligence collection. And you know, intelligence officers, we love different layers, we love different mechanisms, we love pulling it all together because it's like putting together a big jigsaw puzzle, but you don't actually have the picture in the front of the box that tells you what the real answer is.